YouTube, just because whenever I get on these, I do try to post it because we do have quite a few people that message me each week that ask for the recordings. So I just send them over to the YouTube channel. But okay, cool. So Patrick and Belinda are here. Hi, guys. So they are taking their classes currently. So they are future agents.
Nice.
So very
Congrats.
exciting. Yeah, they're like jumping into trainings and all of these things. So they're going to be that much more ahead of schedule when they're licensed. And then Patrick and Belinda, Wes is at American Dream Home Mortgage. So he's a lender here in Salem. And then,
Yeah. And if you guys
Nice to
ever
meet
want to
you.
know, how it works from the lending side, I'm happy
Is
to
there
kind of
video
go
on?
over the process, but
Oh, Patrick, were you saying something?
No.
Oh, okay, cool. No worries. Just making sure. But yeah, Wes. So Wes is a great resource. He popped on here to hear about the comparative market analysis. But reach out to him for lending needs, lending questions. I've seen his name everywhere. I'm friends with him on Facebook. So he's pretty awesome. Well, cool. So a CMA is a comparative market analysis. We have a little over 20 minutes, and I do have to hop off in time because Jeremiah and I are going to go door knocking today. So that'll be another video we publish. But
make a TikTok.
Yeah, I actually probably will. Hopefully it's a success story video. But either way, we're going outside our comfort zone, so that will be a success in and of itself. But anyway, so comparative market analysis. So essentially what that is discovering what the market value of the home is. So the only way to truly know exactly what the home is worth is to have an appraisal done. An appraiser comes out and tells you the house is worth blah, blah, blah. But when we go to list a home and prepare it, for market, or if we're representing a buyer and we want to make sure that our buyers are offering a not way above what it's actually worth, or whatever, we want to run this report to come up with basically as educated of a determination of what that market value is. So there's so many reasons why you would run one. I listed out just a few right now. But essentially today I can go in and show you, it'll just be the gist of it, 15, 20 minutes worth, but it will, you should be able to learn a few things from it. You can ask me some questions. I have been licensed almost 3 years, so there is a chance I don't know the answer to one of your questions, and that's okay because I have an amazing principal broker that I just call anytime I have them because I'm still learning too, and I forever will be. So I am.
If you think you got it, you don't.
That's right. I know that would be a problem. So I'm like not even going to pretend that I know it all. But I like learning a lot. That's why I chose this field, because if it was boring and monotonous, I would not be happy. All right. So I'm going to go to Realtor Property Resources. So it is called, if you go to NARRPR.com, you can see it up there at the top of the screen. I'm actually going to put it in the chat. Jeremiah, you've been on NAR, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So I don't believe Wes and the Styles will be able to either see very much or access everything that I'm putting in here, because you do need to be a member of the National Association of Realtors for this. Yeah, so you can at least see though how agents come up with a CMA. There are other CMA tools for sure. There's some, tools through, most commonly is through your MLS that you're a member of. So, but I just like this. I feel like this is really user friendly. So this is my go-to. So let's, does anyone want to volunteer an address that they know about? If not, I can use an address for one of our current listings. It's just fun if you have an address if I have an address that I don't know about, unless it's really hard to do a report, and then I would feel pretty silly, but.
There's one on Feather Cloud that I know about. That's the one that's right down the street from my house.
Oh, seriously? That is our listing?
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Well, yeah, that's why I went in there
Oh,
to
that's why
see
you mentioned it.
Erica.
I'm
Yeah.
like, that's really random that you would think of that. Okay, yes. So Feather Cloud. The funny thing is I told, oh yeah, there it is. Okay. So I did run a CMA on it. I'm hoping that it doesn't like it won't like start fresh, but I should be able to complete like a CMA and show you all. I just don't have to skip any steps because they're auto saved in here. But so here we have 935 Feather Cloud. So you're right down the street, like you live near,
like on the block. I was going to get my mail and I was like, oh hey, I'm gonna go in there and say hi.
My gosh, that's awesome. So that's what you're talking about with Erica. Okay, the open house. That makes sense, because for some reason I was thinking she had an open house near your office, and I was like, I don't remember her doing one, but she totally could have. Okay, cool. So super cute house. So is for sale. So a lot of times when you search for an ad, oh sorry, I kind of skipped that basic part showing where I search. You can just type in the address, it'll pop up. RPR is super cool because it tells you actually not only, it pulls it from like the county records, but it tells the name of the owners, and it tells, you how many bedrooms and bathrooms, and if ever anything is modified within the home, you can go in and edit the public records there. Well, here on RPR. And then it tells the schools, it tells you the walkability. Wait, I think that's walkability. Yeah, essentially the walk score. It tells you the lot size. So this is just really great to know when you're even just doing a listing agreement for a home. It has a lot of information that you need for the listing agreement, like the subdivision and how it's zoned and all that stuff, how much the property taxes are, all of that. So it's a more reliable source than Zillow, even though it has its version of a Zestimate on here, which it says 445. That can be completely off if there's any data entry on a comp. If that was like an incorrect data entry that it's automatically pulling from the comps, it can totally mess this up. So I've had it off by over $100,000 when for some reason one of the comps had an incorrect something that I went and investigated, and it was not correct. So it totally messed up this, the RVM. So RVM is the, I don't even know what it stands for. Realtor value, no idea. It's the RPR version of this estimate. So anyway, so what we need to do is we need to go in and say this house was not listed. It's just someone I'm talking to. They are like, I want to list my house. How much would I get from it? You start here and you want to create a CMA. So there's a little button there. You click on it. We're going to find out how much this home is worth, how much would what I believe an appraiser would appraise it at. At any time, please jump in with questions. Let me try to minimize this here. All right, so what it has you do first is it has you, and it's just like, boom, it's like one step right after the other. You do them in order. So I'm going to confirm the facts about this home. So you can see that what the public record data is. And then if I made any changes, it would then stay updated in the listing data. But it's 3-bed, 2-bath, so say they had done like any kind of a roofing change, like say they put a metal roof on there and that was not listed in the public information, I could then change that. Or I've had people that have modified offices. They made it so it's a bedroom. It might not show yet. So then I would make a change there. So, and save it. So if there's any changes, then make those changes. Once it all looks good, if there's any changes, confirm facts and close. I think the only thing I changed on there was just the siding type. And And so then the next thing to do is to find comps. So who knows what a comp is? Jeremiah, do you know?
Comparable sales.
Comparable sales.
Recent comparables.
Yes. Yep. Yep. So something that the appraiser looks at is, you know, basically, I mean, market value, one of the elements of that is what are people willing, you know, to pay? What is everybody willing to pay for this? That plays a part in the market value. So, you know, and so basically it's best to look like in that exact neighborhood within the last, right now, I would say the last 3 months, because the market really shifted a lot in June, you know, give or take. So, if it was a couple months ago, it would be safe to say in the last 6 months. But right now, I would definitely look in the last 3, maybe 4, but three is best. Because things are changing, you know, it just makes things a little bit more solid. So we want to look in the neighborhood within the last 3 months is where we'll start. And we actually will only look at the ones that closed, the sale closed. So the reason we don't want to look at active for sale, pending, active under contract, we don't want to look at those at what price those are listed at, because they haven't closed yet. So they totally might appraise like really low. They might appraise completely different than what they're listed at. If that maybe agent didn't run a great CMA, like we have no idea anything about those. And so really the only reliable data that a appraiser will look at is what has closed and funded. So we're going to look at closed transactions. You notice I put single family residence. If it was a different type, like, you know, like a manufactured home, I would, you know, select that. You can do all sorts of criteria. So I'm going to start with kind of the most basic one, but sometimes you're looking at a unique property that doesn't have great comps, and that's kind of another story there, another Zoom call. So this is a 3-bed, 2 baths. Oh, I have someone at my door. My dog's going to go crazy. Sorry, everyone. So I'm Cheeto. So I'm going to look up exactly what this home is, and we'll see if it results in anything. We might have to look at like a 3 to 4 bedroom, but I'm going to just start with 3. So this home is 1635 square feet. So I would look, you know, between 1400 and like 1900 square feet. And so if, you know, we'll also be looking at the lot size, but I'm just going to let that be for now. You can specify the year built. So this home is 2002. I'm going to let that be for now, but keep in mind, I'm like in the back of my mind, I'm going to also be looking at lot size and age of the home. So 14 sold properties that could be used as comps. And so, basically what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to do it on this call because it would take a very long time, but or a long time, you know, to show you all the steps. But essentially the idea is look at each comp. So this is 0.1 mile away.
That's my other neighbor.
Yeah, all of these will probably be, or at least very close to you.
I can see the house in my backyard.
That is so funny. Okay, so you have a new neighbor then. I'm really sorry about my dogs, you guys.
No, it's fine.
Okay. So it closed for 440,000. It was 1470 square feet, so it was smaller. 3-bed, 2 bath, which is the same, and it is 1 year newer. Right? I have the worst memory. Yeah, 1 year newer. So that looks good. I'm just going to go ahead and right click it though. I'm just going to check it out. I'm going to make sure that the lot size isn't crazy different. It looks very, very comparable. the lot size is 6098, and you already know about my memory now, exact same lot size. So this is an excellent comp. Sometimes I go in if it say this home looked like really run down and awful. Sometimes I do go in, I kind of compare like the condition of the home. I compare, all of that, but this is like a very comparable home. So it's just closed. It's in the exact neighborhood. It is a little smaller, but a year newer. So it's a good comp. And whenever in a minute I'll go in and I'll show you how to kind of adjust the comps, because now this one's a little smaller, but it is 1 year newer. But because the size is, over 100 square feet smaller, I will adjust it just a tad at the end, which will then, instead, it will change kind of the end, like market value price of our subject property. So, but this is a great comp. It's very close to the house that we're selling. So when you're going in, so here's a home that's older. It's older and it's smaller. And I'm also going to look at the lot size. It's older and smaller, but it's 3-bed, 2-bath. It's got a larger lot size. So this is something that if we are not finding a lot of comps, we could add it as a comp, but we'll need to adjust it accordingly. So because even though it has a larger lot, it is a little smaller, it's quite a bit older. So this is one that I would maybe say that it's a little bit, quote unquote, worse condition. But it's because the lot size is so much bigger. I would not say that it's much worse, just a touch, and that will then adjust the final market value price. So I'll go ahead and I'll add it. So because of time, I don't have time to go through everything, but there are quite a few comps available. Within the criteria I searched for, there's 14 comps. As many as possible is best, as long as they're not way off. Like if this was built in 1920 and was like 1,200 square feet, like obviously I'm not going to just pick it because it's a 3-bed, 2-bath. It's kind of your discretion. You can ask your mentor, principal broker, someone else that's really experienced if you have any specific questions as you go. I'm going to find another like super good comp here. Like here's one that's the same age, a little bit smaller. I'm just checking the lot size. Super quick here. Yeah, so
really hard when there are no comps. It's like, this is a unique property. It's like, oh no.
Right. Yeah. So sometimes there are no comps. And so that's probably on the second Zoom call where we talk about some like exceptions, but I have found that there was one in Prineville that was like a manufactured home on its own land on acreage, and it was out in the middle of nowhere. So there's no comparable home within like, it was crazy. It was like within like 10 miles or something. And so that one, basically I asked my principal broker what he recommended. I just found the closest property that was the closest thing to it and then adjusted it from there. So they can get really complicated. And I have had listings, higher price listings that there's no room for error. And I have paid for an appraisal out of pocket with that listing agreement signed. So, but that's pretty rare, and that is not required of any agent. So the best you can do is, the most educated decision that you can, and pulling in someone that is a good second set of eyes if it's really unique. So here I have 3. 2 of them are very, very close. One of them is a little bit older. You're going to go through and select probably many of these, like 1994. Some of them, a lot of them are quite a bit older. So let me like find a comp here. And you'll notice kind of the price per square feet too, but this really is a huge range, ranging between 235 and 304. Here's one. That one might be like manufactured. I'm not sure. That's a picture of a van. So that person really doesn't know how to take good MLS photos. So 1984, this one's a little bit older, but it looks like definitely like a comp, little older, but it is on a little bit bigger lot. So that one might even out really nicely. So I'll just add that one just so I can have it on here. So I will add more. We're running out of time. So I'll just show you the idea. You add as many comps as possible, as long as they are truly a comparative property. And then you want to adjust them. So right now, this is the price. If I didn't adjust the comps, if they were perfect comps, like that first one I found, if they were like perfect, same lot size, same age, same bed, same bath, same neighborhood, and recent, all of those criteria, if this number would then be the recommended, you could list it for 460 or 463. And the conversation with the listing agent about market value is another Zoom call, because that is very in-depth, and it depends on, it's not only what your strategy is and also managing their expectations, but it's just a whole different conversation that we can have. But basically, this is based on the comps, the market value. But as we know, the comps need adjusted. So that will change this just a little bit. So we're just using the 4 that we found. It's really nice. It shows the subject property here in the yellow or tan or whatever color that is. And so we can go through. So here's the really good one, his neighbor. Hey, but now we can tell people offering on the property that there's a really awesome neighbor named Wes.
There you go.
I gotta check and see. I think we have another offer coming in. So 3 bed, 2 bath. It's a little smaller, exact same size, only 1 year older. The lot size is exact, excuse me. So because it's smaller, I'm gonna go ahead and slide this. How does this property compare to the subject property? It's a little bit worse, like a little bit. It's not like it's worse as a house, but it's not quite as big as the one we're looking at. So then the next one is 3 bed, 2 bath, also smaller, but a bigger, like quite a bit bigger lot, and it's older. So if this one was about the same age, these two things wouldn't really cancel each other out, because it's only a little bit smaller, but the lot size is quite a bit bigger. But it's also, now we see that it's older. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to move it just 1 click worse. But the fact that because that lot size is so big, that's why I don't make it a couple clicks worse. So then Brianna Court, it's 3 bed, 2 bath, just a little bit smaller, barely at all. Couple hundred square feet larger lot, same size. So because of that, I would say it's really tough choice. It would probably even each other out. It's very close to me wanting to do that, saying that it's a little bit better. So that's kind of, that's a tough one. I'll say that it evens each other out. However, I would not, like, say the market value ended up at 463. I would not, for sure, if they're like, how about 465? I mean, I wouldn't be inclined to push that number at all. And so then we have Parkway, 3 bed, 2 bath, about the same size, but a bigger lot and an older house. So those two things, the fact that it's a bigger lot, but it is an older house, having those two things even out seems pretty fair. So I'm going to go ahead and update the valuation and close. All right, so 475 is the result of the comp analysis. I don't remember how much we listed it for. It's a good thing if I have too many listings. I'm gonna grab this and check. because that was not as in-depth of a CMA as I typically do, but it was fairly accurate with what I grabbed. So, all right. So based on this, yeah, so this CMA came out at quite a bit higher than what I have. So that's just proof that whenever we did the full CMA, we had like 10 comps. So it's quite a bit different. So you can't do what I just did. This is just for concept reasons and not the actual. But you'll go through and you will add every single comp in that neighborhood because that's what the appraiser will do. But that's the idea where you go in, you rate them. Some things balance out, some things do not. You rate the comps better or worse. And then the end number is adjusted. So that's the idea. Sorry that we ran out. 30 minutes was definitely not long enough for this. And then you can go in and view the report, and there's all different kinds of reports. It gives you samples, so you can go in and see what works, but what you want. I'll typically do just a property report. It gives them what you came up with. It gives them all of the comps so they can say, oh, wow, they really did make an educated guess. These are the comps that they're looking at, and quite a bit of other things. It lets you download it and email it to them. And it's a beautiful report, makes you look really good. And then you have a report that you can print off or email to them. So that's the idea. Like I said, there'd probably be like quite a few more comps on that would change the price, but you can see the concept behind it. That's what we do. We add all those in. For something like that, it will probably take me 30 to 45 minutes, depending on how many comps I find. So that was super general. So specific questions, I know we don't have time for, but did that make sense to everyone overall?
Yes, I learned some things.
What was that?
I said, I learned some things. Thank you.
Good. Yeah, totally. Yeah. So that's what we do. That's what we look at. We're happy. I'll dive in again on some more things. I think, on our listings, I've had one of like 40 come back a little bit low. But with the market shift, we just have to learn, stay, with what Wes probably has reports and all sorts of newsletters he can add you to, or you can talk to him about the kind of the lending side of the market change. You can use me as a resource on the other side of things from the agent perspective. So it is important to stay really on top of the market. But yeah, and I actually do have an appraiser that loves talking to agents, and that is really hard to find. So I'll keep you guys posted if we can get him on here. But anyway, so that's a CMA, that's the tool I use, and we can kind of go into depth on some other facets of that later, but that's about it.